Okay, I want to say hello again everybody, welcome to another video. I hope you're doing okay. In this video I'm just going to talk to you about random stuff to do with the universe and aliens and space and all that fun stuff. Right, let's talk about this. So, let's say, right, if you had the opportunity to go up to space, would you do it? Let's just talk freely about this. Would you want to risk going up into space? Now, I think just by what I've seen on this earth, it seems like a lot of people would try a lot of things. People go on crazy roller coasters all the time. People do all kinds of things, like bungee jumping, all kinds of stuff, right? People, they'll dive to the depths of the unknown of the sea. Heck, we'll fly planes. To me, that's like, you're someone in a contraption, a machine, flying through the sky at supersonic speeds, and we do some dangerous, crazy shit. Our human species, as animals, we really do. We do things that a lot of animals wouldn't do if they had the sense to avoid. But like, we risk a lot. Mountain climbing, exploring active volcanoes, whatever it might be, and then all the other crazy stuff on top of it and stunts. But the thing I was going to say is, so I think a lot of people would go up into space, and the astronauts obviously that have gone up into space as far as we know. Some people say that all space travel and all of just leaving the Earth's atmosphere and just going up into space is actually all made up. Some people don't believe it. You see conspiracy, like, I don't want to use the term conspiracy theorists because David Icke, I feel, quite rightly pointed out many times how that's kind of been used wrongly. Conspiracy theorists, and that's like as though it's a bad thing. No, there is such a thing as that, and like there are, it's just the idea that information is being hidden from you, which is So you're suspicious. If you are suspicious that certain information may be being hidden from you or kept from you, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. What the fuck is that? Come on now. It's very right to think that maybe there could be something behind, something more. And that people may be hiding stuff from you. It's like on one hand you're saying that you don't trust people on this planet, if they are to be called that. Yeah, and then on the other side, you're saying, well, we'd be wrong to, if someone were to say that, they'd be wrong. It's like anything anyone says, they're wrong, basically. And whose logic's ultimately right over who? It's like we can't get our brain. We can't even escape the confusion of our own brains, let alone travel through the universe. Now let's talk about space for a moment, okay? Space, right? Let's imagine here. So there's some people that don't believe that people have actually been up to space or been up to the moon. They believe, or some people believe it's the moon's this fake thing, a man-made thing, a spy satellite thing looking down on us or something like that, or some space station. It's why you never see the other side of the moon, or it's some hollow thing they're talking about where there was this thing they tried where it was hit with impact and there was like this ring, this like gong, it ringed for a certain amount of time to show that the thing's hollow almost. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff. I've watched so many videos on the flat earth and the inner earth and all this, and videos by the of talking about Admiral Byrd, if you know him, someone who went on this journey to try and find like the inner Earth or something beyond Antarctica. There's people that believe that the world's like flat. There's people that believe that the world is, that there's more land beyond Antarctica and stuff like that. And then they believe that the world goes in and there's this thing where it goes in, and then inside the Earth is hollow. The hollow Earth. You must have heard of this before. And then there's other people that like if you've ever, my God, there's someone online who goes by the name of Zora, Zora. He goes by the name of many names. He's multiple personalities mixed up. And he basically says that he's come from another alien dimension, basically. Plus you get time travel people that talk about time travelling as well. But this guy, okay, Zora, not to be confused with the Zelda race of beings called from Zora's domain. But this is, I think it's spelled Z-O-R-R-A. And then, and it's also called Zora, and he's got different things in him. He plays he channels his father through him. And he changes from an American accent to a British accent. And he says that he's been around for years. He said he was working when he was a kid or something around Area 51 or something, and he was actually there. Yeah, and it was like he went down there, and there was like these tunnels and these aliens, and it's one of those ones. And you look back on it. I look back on it like this thing that I was watching, these interviews with this guy, and I think this stuff's like fascinating to look at. And at the same time, I'm thinking, shit, it's just one of these ones, though, isn't it? It's one of them videos they put out there, the frequent videos on UFOs or the Loch Ness Monster. It's like one of these guys who are talking about Area 51, spaceships, aliens, flat Earth, inner Earth, ghosts, whatever. There's always people talking about this stuff, and it's not to say that things like this don't exist or that, but it just blows your mind to see some of the stuff people talk about. You got to see this guy's videos to know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, but let's get back to the topic. Okay, okay, now, would you go up to space if you had let's say you had no choice? Then we've got to find another Earth. Imagine being faced with that, and they say, "Look, man, you can either stay here on this planet and die, or you can come with us now. There's a free seat on the mothership, whatever the fuck, whatever spaceship, with our technology, whatever that is supposed to be, sometime in the future, I'm guessing, because it's not going to be. We don't have the best now, but." Let's go, we've got to leave the planet. We've got to leave and try. Or you've got to stay and die. What would you do, So many movies about this kind of stuff and sci-fi stuff, So, if you had the opportunity to go up to space, even just for travel, go to space and even just go to the moon for a day and then come back, would you do it to live the experience, man? It's like swimming down to see the coral reefs. Oh, they're so beautiful. I've seen it now, I've fulfilled my life. Or let's climb up to the top of the fucking Mount Fuji or whatever. Let's climb up the Alps, climb up the mountain top, and you say, now I've made an accomplishment in my life. You see a big view from up top of all these mountains, yeah. You feel the freezing cold wind, yeah. Yeah, you're tired and you've climbed a mountain, but at the end of the day, it's just a mind thing, isn't it? But okay, what is there to see and experience? Okay, fair enough, but a human being talks about climbing a mountain. An ant talks about climbing a hill. It doesn't even talk about it. It just gets somewhere. A lot of times animals do things that are just beneficial. That are relevant to their needs. Human beings don't do that. Their minds out there elsewhere, and they make things their needs, and they start to care about certain things. It's funny. That's what makes us more intelligent, right? Other depths and levels to us. But let's go back to what I was saying though. Okay, if you was going to go up into space, would your ass come floating back, boy? I'm just saying, if you just imagining that now. If you was going to float up into space and go, to another planet. So let's say you had a chance. I don't know. Look, to me, I think it would be very scary. It's kind of like diving. I can't swim. I'm afraid to put my head under the water. So to be actually submersed in deep water, my God, I'd be terrified. God knows what that must have been like for those people lost at sea in the Titanic. I'm sure that there were people on there that couldn't swim too. So, imagine this, deep sea divers. Imagine people in submarines or people that are going far to the depths of the sea. And I think it's quite amazing. I've never looked and imagined the actual depths that some submarines can go. And the big ones, small ones, or whatever. But imagine being stuck in there. I mean, I remember there was a story. I don't want to talk about this, but I remember there was a story on the news. There was some news story where some people got stuck in a submarine, And that was that, man. They must have just died down there. Wow. Imagine how terrifying, how scary that must have been. First of all, the electricity and the power would run out. Power would run out, so it would go dark. So I guess they'd die anyway if it wasn't through starvation or lack of water. They'd die from the oxygen tanks and stuff. Whatever oxygen levels. If water didn't get in, fuck's sake. But just being in that metal submarine, submerged deep, fucking, coffin basically, and under the depths of the sea. Imagine that they was unable to come back up. Apparently they lost them off the radar, whatever it was, or they lost communication. They was unable to get back up. Imagine that your machines there. So a lot of times people put their trust in machinery, like it's going to work, everything's going fine, we've got enough power. A machine could just shut down at any minute. Like this computer now, or the lights in your house, something could happen, a power surge, something, or if something would go wrong. It's not. You got to be optimistic about could this, could that. No, I'm saying, right. Fuck, man. It's not about just being optimistic and saying everything's going to be fine. Being positive, things could happen. Your body could shut down too humanly. Yeah, fair enough. But we're lucky to be alive. I'm just saying, mate, that when it comes to machines, man, they're not. They're not so reliable at every level. Electricity, like, let's look at it this way, okay? Look at it this way. Nature works the best. When you're dealing with machines, you're not really dealing with nature. It's like these things have been made, these mechanical things, with electricity going through the wires and the circuits, and everything's put together, metal and plastic. But at the end of the day, it's not real nature, So the chances of it, not working, as well as nature does, are more higher. So you may think that machines are always going to be better than nature. You can make robots that are faster and smarter than people and whatever it is and that. But still, you're dealing with things that we've created from our mind, tools that have been created by us, and you're dealing with, basically something that's not natural. It's based on needs. It's based on task-based needs. You see, and efficientness of what it does. A car is very efficient. A fridge is very efficient. It doesn't mean it's natural. It doesn't actually. Even if you give a mind to it, and the mind could think, yes, I need the wheels to spin. I need this to happen. The car had its own mind. I know exactly what I need to do. There's not even any distraction of other thoughts. It's like totally thinking about driving and But the thing is, it's not actually natural. It's actually just based on that, And we're getting metal rusts. You put a dent in a piece of metal, it doesn't heal itself. You get that? You put a dent in a piece of metal, it's not going to heal itself like your skin will. If you graze your skin heals up, right? So we need to understand where the hell we come from before our minds travel so far that we want to drag our bodies out into the depths of space. But the point is, where are you going and what you're exploring? I reckon there's people so crazy they'd if they had the chance to go into a black hole, they would, to experience it or something, or But there's people that believe in the multiverses, and time travel and that. What about this? Okay, another Earth, another planet. Imagine landing on another planet. Literally just putting your feet in, but like being another Earth. Another Earth, like an Earth-like planet. How sure would we be that it would be inhabitable? Okay for us to live on, I'm saying. We don't know exactly. You might start breathing that oxygen, it might feel fine. But then you might start growing mushrooms out of your asshole. Or you might start growing fucking horns out of your head and start being a goddamn, slave for the devil. So you don't know where you might end up. You you could end up eating fruit off the trees. You may take this place to be so Earth-like and fine, and everything's bigger too. You've got big bananas and big pineapples, and you're walking around and tastes good and stuff, but you don't realise what the hell you're doing. And what I think is, rather than talking about other planets, how about talking about our own Earth? I think there's a lot of people that don't understand nature and our own Earth. A lot of people are walking around living an unnatural life here on Earth, unnatural habits, and a lot of what we eat is also unnatural. I mean, the foods that are created, So, a lot of what we do. So, how effectively are we living on our own planet? At least we know we came from it. It's like you put a goldfish or you take some kind of fish out of some kind of water pond where it came, and you put it in a tank or a toilet, and it has trouble living there, and you wonder why. It's very fascinating. So let's flush that topic out of the way and move on. So aliens. Let's talk about aliens. So alien beings and creatures. Let's imagine. Some people believe that there's aliens on this planet already, but let's imagine, other beings and aliens for a moment. What are you picturing in your mind now? Living creatures? They could be of any form. Right? They could be made of just energy itself, like whatever that is supposed to mean. Things we don't even know, let alone electricity. But a lot of times people will think of life when they're looking for life. What are they looking for? When they look for life in space, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack, because it's not like 1 in a million. We're talking much less than 1 in a million. We're talking about the vast, infinite possibilities of anything, basically, beyond what we even know as the universe, and here it is. There's an infinite possibility of possibly, because all possibilities are part of the infinitum amount of possibilities, variations of anything, meaning infinite dimensions even. So 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, whatever. So we're just based here in our tiny thoughts, thinking about a handful of things. What does it mean? If something's got to be alive, you can't just have one thing. It's got to be this, this and this, these 3 things, and that's enough. That's a solid human interpretation of what life is. They've got to be able to reproduce. They've got to be able to move. I don't know what the things are. They've got to be able to breathe. No, you know what I mean? Or eat. They've got some energy, and then die. I don't know. Things like that. So think for yourself. Think for yourself. What's thinking? We don't even know in this day and age. They can't even get the mind and the brain worked out. So a different thing. But let's get on what I'm saying. But there's a few things there and more. So, but let's imagine, you're looking in space then, and you're looking throughout the universe, trying to find things that fit that criteria. So think of some kind of organism, some kind of, whether it relates to a fucking sloth hanging from a tree, or a bacteria, or we'd imagine, whatever. So, you're looking for that, and yes, that's life. We're looking for things that mean things to us, based on what we see, as a body, as 2 eyes, as a head, as a movement itself, breathing. And as I said, another thing, is when it comes to science and stuff, what about mathematics? Mathematics includes measurements of everything, all interpreted, human interpretation. Interpreted ideas of measurements and maths and how things are measured, time, space, movement within that, speed of anything within vision, light, sound, solid, mass, weight, everything you can, weights in gravity, but you know what I mean. So space, mass, time, speed, all that light, sound, everything that makes it up, all the other factors of the other stuff I'm not thinking about here, but all the measurements of anything apparently don't make sense, especially in the far deeper areas of the unknown which we've not studied not just as in the mind unknown, also the actual true unknown, what's actually out there, supposedly or possibly out there, right? It's always possible things, not just because we say it, but because we don't know it. So there's half possibility that it could be real, which is like 100 and 100 or 50-50. It's the same thing. So so that we're never dealing with a 50-50 really. You're dealing with 100 or 100. It's one or the other. So the thing is, there's always more. There could be more. So the thing is, like So the thing is, I've just forgotten what I was talking about. But so there could always be more. Okay, but so measurements, I guess, and mathematics. When we're talking about the universe, measurements, human measurements. What? Simple example would be, this mountain is so big, says the human being. But if you were a giant, that mountain wouldn't be big. If you were giant sized, the mountain would be as small as a little hill or something, a little a patch of grass or a heap of sand on the road, or like So, like that. So basically, it's our perspective of things. But if you go back to the actual things, so like studying maths, and say, why does maths and measurements, basically measurements of anything, all measurement of anything, I've said space, time, mass, how big, whatever, anything, any kind of measuring, what can't you measure? You can measure everything, anything, right? But our measurements don't make any sense apparently when you go into a black hole, or you go, like, I forgot the science exactly now, I've said this before, like you go faster than the speed of light, or you go into a black hole or something, or where certain areas of space where you go into different dimensional realms is the only way I can roughly loosely describe it, where all laws of nature and reality as we know it, nature being reality, right, of anything real, all change and twist up. The same way as an aeroplane's in the sky and it travels, the time up there on a plane is slightly different from the people down below, and you've got the time zones around the world and all the rest of that as well. Same thing in space, and when you're going in through space and you go to different dimensions or different speeds and different things, we talk about the quantum physics and all that stuff, and the deeper things that we don't even know yet even about. All that breaks down and twists up all of our understanding of the 3 dimensions, 4, 5, 6, whatever dimension. You see things like movies which touch on these sort of subjects, like Interstellar. If you've seen the movie Interstellar, it's quite a long movie. It drags on, but it's a deep science fiction movie. I saw it in the cinema, and so that means our measurements don't mean jack squat. They don't mean jack shit. The only thing our measurements and our study are good for is literally our human life on this planet that we came from, that we're on, we're living. And that's basically that. So, we're talking about understanding more about anything. Can you understand anything without measurements? How do you judge something? How do you learn about it? You measure, you study its height, length, width, of anything, even what people are saying, how well does it weigh up, so to speak? What is its body, so to speak, its mass? What is it, mate? You've got to study this thing, right? So that we are, our whole body and our essence and our whole 5 5 senses in this physical form of life, which we call life, is a tool, instrument to actually study and measure our surroundings in the way that we can. So a fish is only able to study. A fish could be a tool of measurement, an instrument of measurement that goes and analyses the world. It's like we build these. Was it the Mars rover? Is it, or these little robot cars or whatever they are? That go up into the moon or Mars or wherever. And they take pictures, or satellites and stuff, and they study the surroundings, or little robots that we send down under the sea, or even drones and stuff, things like that. And they're special cameras and things that study within a certain range. Cameras study, but it's like they're just the visual, the light, how light's hitting off things. So we're talking about everything we know: light, sound. Oh, we can't talk about sound because there's no air in space, so sound can't travel, or at least on frequencies and waves that we understand. But visual, and you say, okay, lights then. So light seems to be everywhere, well, because we perceive it, and then someone else turns around and says, oh, it's an actual fact, man. Everybody knows that. Oh, you know, if things are only there because if we look at them, and there's other things like that, which I never have understood that. Because what does that mean? You could say something only shows itself to us, or is there in a philosophical term of visibility because we look at it. But something actually being there because we look at it, where's the relation and the connection? And then you talk about the connection between things with distances, and you get coincidences, and then you get things like this spooky action thing that, you know, Einstein I think mentioned, where it's got like one thing can be in two places at the same time. There's so much we don't know about. So how the hell are we going to capture all that? We can't even work out time travel and teleportation without first destroying the whole body and making a copy of it, if that was ever possible. They're making these 3D printing machines and robot sex dolls they're making in this. I'm just saying no. But in terms of like literally flash the instant you're here and you're there, and still we can't get it right. We can't, you know. So when you're talking about the universe and life in general, it's just, you know, there's so much to it, you know. There's so much to it. We are trying to search for meaning from what we know. It's a reflection and memories of what we know, reflections of human thought in space, and then find a place for us to be that, like what we're living now, for survival. So people want to know if there's life out there. They want to know if there's another planet that's like ours, if we ever needed to escape and go there. You know, like some of these people travelling around the world, they want to go to another country and step inside someone's house, and if it's going to be just like it is where they are, you know, and they go there and they find, oh, it's not. But now what? They're battle or what is there? So I don't know. But listen, there's some good stuff. If you've ever seen the movie Prometheus, and then the second one, which follows it, is called Alien Covenant. You either like these movies or you don't. They're not great, but it's about that kind of topic, you know, about these people who have to leave Earth. They go somewhere in the future. They travel to find another planet where they can live on, and they're trying to find it. And it's about aliens and stuff to some degree. Dark sci-fi, but the first movie is called Prometheus, and the second one's called Alien Covenant. And I really like that guy, Michael Fassbender. Funny name, I think he's Irish actually, but Michael Fassbender. His role he plays of this evil, this nasty robot character. He plays this high-tech, futuristic robot, looks human, you know, very smart. And the role he plays of this robot, okay, and this British speaking accent, but he's like this robot that's learning from the humans, but he's like, he becomes he's just a problem basically, and he's called David 8. He plays this role of David 8. So, I am David. You've got to see this fucking movie, man. It's just great, man. I love it. Just because of that role, Michael Fassbender playing David 8, that makes the whole movie what it is. I just want to see a film about that guy. You know? I want him to continue playing that role and bring back the thing. You know, there's people that don't like the movie and that, but I think it's good just for that role, man. He's amazing. Michael Fassbender. He's been in other movies too, yeah. And the fact that he did some martial arts especially in the second one, there's some fight moves and that was cool as well. He's done his own action stuff. He's been in other movies too. But Michael Fassbender playing David 8 in you know, Prometheus, and then as I say, Alien Covenant, the second one. And you need to watch them in that order, okay, if I were you. This is great. You know, I was never really into the Alien movies like growing up, but it's kind of like that. Prometheus seemed to be like a side, what do you call it, a spin-off type thing, but it was his own movie, and then that's what it seemed to be, and then they continued with Alien Covenant, and they got those aliens in there, and but I didn't care, no, whatever, you know. With David 8, the character is great, David 8. Anyway, but anyway, we kind of went off the beaten track. There's quite a few movies I want to see. I like films about like high tech, like robots and stuff. I've still not seen that Ex Machina. Is it Ex Machina? Ex Machina, whatever it is. There's a woman robot. I want to see that if I get a chance. I've seen other movies, as I say, similar to these. But yeah, it's all futuristic sci-fi stuff. But you know, we got our real nature here, and we need to at least understand things and value things in a human way of understanding things and valuing things in the human life, I'd say. Thanks for watching this. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your time. Thank you, means a lot.